Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We're finishing World 2 today, so cruising with linking lists. So this one's a bit auto-scrolly, but it has a neat little gimmick to it that you have to kind of keep your platform showing up as you hit the little blocks. So it's a little more interesting than just standing on a platform and watching it go.
It definitely is. Again, whenever you do an auto scroller, I always prefer stuff like this where A, you're doing something instead of just waiting, and B, there's some sort of cohesion to why you're auto scrolling.
I'm thinking that like the actual like platform being a timer bar is a bit on the nose, but you know.
It is also funny in that like you can, the better you play, the more wiggle room you have, but you can end up in a situation where you have like barely any time left, and so it gets really frantic. I love this stage.
Yeah, it is a pretty neat gimmick. You know, that's ultimately what Mario Wonder's success comes down to, is that it's just a lot more imaginative, both visually and mechanically, than a lot of the new Super Mario Brothers games that I played. Yeah. And those weren't bad games. They were absolutely solid games. I had a lot more fun with them than I think a lot of other people do, because because I just hadn't played as much 2D Mario by the time I got to those games, you know?
I think the thing about new Mario, again, it's not that they're bad. I think you'd be arguing in pretty bad faith if you were gonna say that the new Super Mario Brothers games are bad. They're not bad. You know, it's more just that they feel uninspired. You know, there's definitely a lot of times where you can be like, you're eating something, you know that it's good, but it's like, all right, you're having chicken again. Yeah, meatloaf again, exactly. Like, you can have the best meatloaf of your goddamn life 6 days in a row and still be sick of it. And New Super Mario Brothers isn't the best meatloaf of your life. It's like a perfectly normal meatloaf. So, you know,
that is certainly one way to put it.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is that around that time, Nintendo was getting beaten at their own game so much that it made New Super Mario Brothers look worse by comparison.
Yeah.
Games that came out around the same time are stuff like Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, the Kirby Return to Dreamland. There's so many multiplayer platformers that came out around that time. It's actually ridiculous.
Not even that. There were just so many indie platformers that were doing way more creative things with just moving to the right than Nintendo was doing.
Yeah.
Something on the world map, is Mario stuck in diagonal like sprite angles?
Yes, you do move in full 360 analog control, but he'll like kind of snap into the 8 diagonals
like isometric.
as you turn. Yeah. I believe they mentioned that in one of the interviews they did about the graphics, where they did a lot of stuff like that to kind of mimic the feel of it being a sprite game, even though everything's done in 3D.
I like these platforms where, like, if you land on them too many times in too short a time, and even if the enemies land on them in too many times in too short a time, you could just end up getting dropped out from under it.
I do believe this is a gimmick that a couple different 2D Mario games have.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've done this.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What other games have done it?
A lot of them. So I believe 3. Some of the Yoshi games have done them, which are like at least cousins to the Mario games. Like, I know there's a few levels in Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi Island DS that have a similar mechanic going on. I can't remember if Mario World had them though. I've played that game less than some of the other ones, so I know the level gimmicks not nearly as much, unfortunately.
Why are they so insistent that you should have a power star in this area where there is nothing to hurt you?
Yeah.
World's longest belly flop.
Free
This is assuming
falling.
Luigi is even going to land on his belly.
Yeah, he lands on the trunk. Ouch.
Gotta grab that wonder seat. And that see, that doesn't even land at all. Never mind, this game fucking sucks. Oh, he landed on his feet. Fucking elephant or a cat.
Yeah, didn't you hear that an elephant always lands on its feet?
I gotta test this out. Holy fuck, this is heavy.
Where'd you get an elephant?
Why don't you have an elephant?
Because I don't want to be... Do you know how much elephants eat, John?
You know,
That's a no. All right. Well, you want to know something else? I don't know how much elephants eat either.
it's, you know, how much elephants eat is one thing, but like, how much do elephants poop? That's another.
You tried, right?
Oh.
You know, I don't even have to imagine this scenario myself because Jurassic Park did it for me. Both the movie and the book.
Some elephants can eat up to 600 pounds of food in a single day.
Woo.
The other elephants don't, because that one is a greedy whore.
Oh, you were asking about how much an elephant poops. Elephants digest their food with less than 50% efficiency. An elephant defecates from 12 to 15 times a day, totaling a daily quantity of 222 to 250 pounds.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a lot of fucking fecal matter. Like, I'd imagine that's repurposed for fertilizer, though.
So elephants can be domesticated because there are like historical documentation of like elephants being used in wartime and stuff like that way back when. I don't know how much elephants are used for in domesticated roles like nowadays. It probably varies from country to country.
So you're saying the Oilifants were historically inspired?
Yeah, so in the, you see, this is how you know that we're all in our 30s. I'm going to bring up the Roman Empire. When the Carthaginians were going to invade Rome, they took the elephants fucking over a mountain range, which you gotta must have imagined, which would have been miserable for the elephants with their flat feet that are not designed to march over mountains or in the cold. And then they took them and they fought the Romans with war elephants, which if you're an Italian soldier in the fucking BC whatever, and you know, and you've never heard of an elephant before and you see one, it's gotta be kind of like seeing a mythical monster nowadays. You know, it'd be like the same sort of shock and awe at that same sort of thing. But yeah, there were war elephants that got ridden in several parts of Africa, I believe India as well, but don't quote me on that one because I'm not an Indian history expert. Anyway, I had a point. Oh yeah, so they'd have to like collect the poop in order to use it as fertilizer, which I don't know if they can safely do if they're not domesticated, because elephants obviously are very dangerous animals. So if they're not inherently aggressive, but if you're going to like into
They're
their
not hippos, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, because I'd imagine you have a time limit to gather that shit before it becomes useless.
maybe not useless, but you certainly wouldn't want to like wait too long. And like if they're hanging around, they might not appreciate you.
This is my shit.
Through their
You can't have it.
At least it's biodegradable. In Jurassic Park, the dino shit, you know, that's one big pile of shit. Funny movie line, and then you never see it again. In the book, there's this whole thing about how it was not biodegradable, but the giant fucking brontosaurs, they left these massive piles of non-biodegradable waste all over the place. So they had to breed the compies to literally eat it and redigest it into something biodegradable.
Ugh, that nasty.
Incidentally, the shit-eating scavengers, the literal shit-eating scavengers, are the dinosaurs that kill Hammond in the book. So there's some poetic irony in there.
Damn.
Eat shit.
Yeah, so I mean, it certainly would be good to have some use out of it because, like, you know, again, it's free shit for farming and stuff.
Oh, someone
but,
left this pile of shit here for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, you want to use every part of the buffalo or elephant, I guess.
I tweeted about this, but like yesterday when I was playing Fire Emblem Engage, like one of the first item drops in the Somniel I got in my playthrough was horse manure, and I was like, yay.
Give it as a gift.
Lawrence isn't here. There's no one to give it to.
Gotta love when you're playing an RPG and then you break open a barrel or a pot and then you find horse manure. You know, gotta be one of my favorite.
I didn't even break up a bottle or a pot. It was just an item sparkle that was sitting next to the fountain in the Somniel. You know, picturesque fountain in a lovely nature walk area. Horse manure, sure.
You know what? As someone who did marching band, that's actually very accurate. Horses shit so much.
Damn it, Vander! You're the only mounted unit I even have right now. Pick up after your horse. Come on.
Like, when we were doing marching band, there would be several times, like, we're walking straight in our line, 2 by 2, right? You would see us, like, part like the Red Sea and then come back together, and that's us walking around horse manure.
Is that actually parting the Red Sea? Is that what it's called?
Well, no, that's just the image that I want you to put into your head.
Okay.
With or without the Beyblade.
No, they are the Beyblade.
No, don't use your blade to part the
Why not?
street
Moses
with
did
the
it.
horse. Well, no, because then in this instance, it's going to run straight into horse manure.
Yeah, but it parts the horse manure so that I don't have to step in it.
No, yeah, well, if you're parting the actual... Yeah, if you're parting the... You don't want to part the actual manure, because now instead of one big pile of manure, you have to dodge 2 slightly smaller piles of manure, which is more difficult.
So, Bowser Jr. is a regular now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but, like, this is, like, the one part of the game that, like, unabashedly just is really lame are these boss fights. The final boss is fine, but, like...
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the final boss either.
I mean, compared to this, I don't love it, but it's fine.
Why did the stage transform into molten honey?
Because Bowser Jr. has the Wonder Seed, so he has wonder powers. So he can do weird crap like this.
Doesn't make him any harder, though.
Yeah, it's just, again, we were talking about how imaginative this game is, and you see none of that imagination on display for boss fights. It's just Bowser Jr. over and over again.
Why molten honey? I don't get it.
They made a graphic for it, and they wanted to use some sort of thing where you move slower to contrast. I think it's to contrast, like, slippery ice and sticky honey, I guess.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Again, boss fights are lame. I don't know why Mario specifically can't have a good boss fight. It's just... I just don't get it. Like, again, we were talking about Sonic. The 2D Sonic games have just about as simplistic movesets. I guess you can't attack from underneath the boss in Mario, which cuts off some design space, but like...
Yay, we saved the Dragon Quest VII castle. The hero's gonna be really happy when he comes back from his quest and finds we did his job for him.
In Dragon Quest VII? Oh, good job coming back in 90 hours.
Wait,
then.
7? 8. 8's the one
Okay.
I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
You
See, that probably would also be 90 hours, but it would be a more enjoyable 90 hours than the ones you spent playing 7.
No
7's
kidding.
not very good. I wouldn't recommend it.
7's the PlayStation 1 game, isn't it?
Yeah. It has a really slow startup. Like, you go a good 3 hours before you get your level 1 slime fights. Because there's so... And I mean, don't get me wrong, like, the town that you start off in is really cute and charming, and there's a lot of interesting and funny dialogue and some puzzle solving that you do. But it's just really, really slow and bloated. And the RPG...
Were they trying to do a slow burn with, like, a non-combatant learning to fight?
Sort of. Like, you're finding out this mystery involving the town, and then you get sent back in time, and then you start fighting stuff, and it's like, kind of that sort of thing. The big problem isn't even just the long opening, it's that you start the game, you go through that opening, and then there's another 15 or so hours after that where you don't have any sort of job system. So your moves in battle are run,
God.
basic attack. And Maribel the mage has like heal and fireball, and that's it.
That
so you get
that sounds like Final Fantasy 13, where it takes forever for you to fucking unlock the Crystarium so that you can actually level your goddamn characters up.
yeah, pretty much. You like 20 hours in, you unlock the class system, which then you can start like learning unique skills and applying strategy to fights and like, oh, what elements are good here, what status effects, all that stuff. So like you get past the first 20 hours, which are pretty sluggish. You get like a good solid like 40 hours of a normal Dragon Quest game after that. It's not like amazing, but it's solid. But then you reach like a point where you've leveled up enough classes to where your characters are so OP, you can't be stopped, and you have screen clearing moves that don't cost NP. So it's kind of like the beginning where you're just mashing attack, only you're just mashing OP moves over and over until the end. So there's like a 40-hour chunk of a good RPG stuff between a slow 20-hour opening and a really repetitive 40-hour end. So yeah, not a huge fan of Dragon Quest VII. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, maybe it'll get a 2D HD remake and they'll be able to fix those issues someday.